Today on Robert's British Cars, I went shopping. So what can we say about this Spitfire other than it needs a front bumper? Yes, a bumper is definitely going on my parts list. Well, we can say we have a nice set of tires and a matching set of hubcaps. The windshield doesn't seem to have a speck on it. Probably a new windshield. The convertible top might need a little adjusting, but overall it looks like a brand new convertible top on this little Spit. It doesn't look too bad looking down the side of the car, and of course the reason I bought it, it's a round tail. Well, let's get her in the garage and get her up in the air and do some serious inspecting. We've got our little Spitfire up in the air, and I want to get underneath it and take a look around. One thing I want to address is a massive oil leak. Here we are under the car, and the oil is leaking everywhere. It was leaking a lot. So the gentleman I bought it from said, if I can get under here, it was leaking from the little drain hole on the bottom of the transmission. You know, that means that the rear main, that means the engine has to come out is what it means. So in examining this, and I wiped off most of the oil as I could, in examining this, here's one of the things I found. Okay, we have moved to the front of the engine, and here's the interesting observation, if I can do this. We're going to come down here and look at the oil pan, okay? And if you can see that I'm moving the lock washer because the nut isn't tight. The other one, well, it's snug. It's more snugger. This one is also not tight. So I went down the row there and I started tightening the pan bolts because they were loose. That's why I was tightening them. I also noticed another interesting thing about the oil pan. This is a bolt that I took out of the oil pan. It wasn't, well, put it this way, the lock washer was dancing around on the end of the bolt, even though the bolt was tight. This is not the right bolt for an oil pan on a Spitfire. This is the right bolt. You see the difference? On this one, the thread goes all the way to the, it's fully threaded. On this one, the thread only goes down this far. This bolt was bottoming out in the oil pan. I could take the washer off and show you, where am I over here? That's as far as the bolt would go in, and the distance between the end of the threads and the head of the bolt is greater than the thickness of the oil pan, the gasket, and the lock washer. So these bolts, even though they were tight, were not tightening up the oil pan. I wonder if the oil pan was leaking a little. Now we're over here looking at the heater valve. And, well, this is the vacuum line from the distributor. This red wire is going to the positive side of the coil, which means it's energized when you turn on the key. And that's going over there to the electric choke on the Weber. We'll get to that in a bit. This radiator hose seems new. This one looks not new. So I will probably be replacing that. Well, here's the hydraulic cylinders, the brake and the clutch. The little rubber booty's look in really good shape. They're probably not original equipment, a little newer. I would say that these cylinders look pretty good. Maybe they're newer. The brake lines aren't rusty. Let's see what we get for brake fluid. Oh, that's not too bad. Not full, but it's not empty. And the fluid looks pretty good. Let's look at the clutch and see what we have in here for the clutch. I've seen better. Okay, yeah, that's pretty yucky. We're gonna have to do something with this, but the clutch works, which is scary. Okay, anyway, those are the cylinders. Let's go to the other side of the motor. Looking at the battery, the connections don't seem very corroded. They seem okay. I like the wiring here. That is the, I'll put my hand over the light. That looks like it's for the radio. Okay, we'll go with radio for now. Over here, we see the red wire coming to the electric choke on the Weber. Again, the car didn't run when I got it. And what I did, just for real quick, this adjusting screw here was about 4 or 5 turns out. What I did is I turned it all the way in, backed it out 1 1/2 turns, and then, if I can get up off the ground here, then the adjusting screw for the throttle return is, I just touch the throttle and then turn it 1 1/2 turns and adjust it from there. So we'll start the car a little bit later. You'll see that it does okay. Here's an interesting little thing I did. I put, if you can see it here, the throttle wasn't returning all the way. So I made this little metal plate that's going under the carburetor mount. And I put a spring for the throttle to return, okay? Subsequently, in looking around, I found this laying here. I think that's the original throttle return spring. We'll see which, we'll go with one or the other, I don't know yet. Let's take a look at the radiator here. This cap is, what does it say there? 16 pounds. Wow, I think I've only got a 2 or a 3 pounder on my TF. Well, it looks a little rusty in there, and I would be happier if I was looking at some coolant. So we're gonna have to flush this cooling system, most certainly. Leave that for now. This hose seems to be pretty good shape. But then we come back here, and this first of all, the previous owner did not skimp on zip ties. And this is the choke cable, but of course, it's an electric choke on here, so it goes nowhere. We're gonna be removing that. But here's the good part. So this hose comes from the heater valve. Bip goes to here. This hose is supposed to run into this hose. Oh wait, it does. Let's see if we can get down here and take a look. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Right here. Move this out. Move that out of the way. There's the T. Okay? So you have the hose coming out of the manifold that is going to go into the heater, and it tees off into there. Let's look at this hose. Look at this. I don't think there's much water circulating through that hose. So what we're going to do is we are going to replumb this to put the T up here. That'll tee into here and go from here directly into the manifold, and that's going to look much better. Also on the car is a kill switch. So when we store it, we put our little switch in here, and we can turn it on and off. Finally, here's a wiper motor. I bet it doesn't work. And as we look at it, we can see it's not wired up. Here's the wires right here. And they're not going anywhere. So we're gonna have to fix the windshield wipers at some point. Since we live in the Pacific Northwest, windshield wipers are a good thing to have. As we look at the back of the car, the first thing I notice is the custom exhaust. We'll be looking at that quite a bit more when we get under the car. But since we're in the back, let's look at the trunk. There's the support. It's nice to have a piece of rope in case you need to get towed home. We'll take that out for a minute. This is the light bulb holder that goes there, and that's a little bent, and we might have to replace that. Here's a jack. I don't think this is the original jack for the car, because this car is so low to the ground. You get a flat tire, I can't see fitting that jack between the ground and the frame. But we have a nice gas tank cover, and the inside of the car seems pretty solid for a 68. That's pretty impressive, I think. Let's look over here. Oh, not bad. Oh, this is the jack handle wrapped in a rag. So we don't have any rot in here, and the trunk is good. We have a original spare tire, original wheel with a matching spare. So that's a nice thing. Okay, let's go look under the car. Let's take a look at the floorboards. They don't look too terribly bad. We got a little rot here and there. If I was gonna do a full restoration on this car, I think I would put in new floorboards. The one on the other side is kind of crummy because it's got this big hole in it. And then as you can see, there's some kind of metal fencing in there and body filler of some sort holding the rocker panel together. So that's not the best thing. It's not the worst thing. The one thing about the Spitfires that's nice is they have a full frame supporting the structure of the car, and the body is just the body. As a matter of fact, this whole body will come off the frame for a restoration. Here's our exhaust system back up here. So you can see it splits off to the dual exhaust, and it seems brand new. And then when you get up here, we have some creative plumbing. The header is a old 4-to-1, and he did not skimp on the clamps. Going into a flexible pipe, going into here. Maybe if I keep that 4-to-1 header, we'll have to come up with something a little more gooder. So now we're looking under the back of the car. First thing I'll note is the drive shaft, and that seems pretty good. No play in there. Grommets for the differential look like they're pretty good. These bushings here look like they could be replaced in the trailing arm. Yeah, we're going to replace those. I'm going to have to inspect further the top of the leaf spring and that grommet to make sure that that is proper and that there's no lateral movement in that. But overall, there's not a lot of rot. There's no rot back here. And everything seems to be old, but tidy. So you can see he's got new shock absorbers on, and there are no major leaks or any structural damage to the frame that I can see at this time. And of course, time will tell. Okay, we're back topside again. Before I put the top down and take you on a tour of the interior, I noticed that the top does not fit here. If we go around to the other side of the car, you can see that these snaps are all in place, and the top looks good. Seems to be a little slack in the back window, and also the front seems to be okay. However, There is no rubber seal between the header bar and the top of the windshield, so we're gonna have to get one of those. As I said, let's take the top down and see what we got on the inside. So I folded down the top as well as I could. I do not have a boot that goes over the convertible top when it folds down. And I haven't even done any research to see how the heck you fold down a convertible top on a Spitfire. But for now, this'll have to do. Let's take a look and see what we got in here. Well, before I open the door here, I can see that the rubber seal here seems newer than the rest of the car, but it doesn't seem attached very well. We'll have to deal with that. Coming up here, the rubber around the windshield seems in good shape. As a matter of fact, this rubber around the windshield looks new. I bet somebody wrestled with that windshield and that rubber seal like forever. Interesting note, where they meet is not in the middle of the windshield. It's way off to the side. So yeah, somebody put in a new windshield and was probably grateful just to get that rubber seal around the windshield and not worry too much about getting that rubber seal in the center. Opening the door, the first thing I notice is I need a bigger garage. I can't hold the door open. Door card looks good. It's missing the door handle. The seat, now here's a problem right there. That seat is a lot lower. If I sit in that seat at my age, I am not going to be getting up anytime soon. The carpet down here I took out because I was messing with the gas pedal. So we got that, but the floor looks amazing. It looks very good for a 68. The center part there is not bolted down. Windshield seems original. The directional indicator is functional. The headlight, that seems functional. The dashboard got a little crack in it and some other repair work has been done to it. So again, I would probably, if I restore this car, I'll probably replace that dash pad. Or get it running and driving and let the next person do it. Okay, here's another interesting thing. If I get my butt in here, this is the glove box on the driver's side. And this is in early American Gorilla Tape. So we're gonna need a glove box on this side. And over here, yeah, we'll probably need a new glove box on this side too, because that is the same Gorilla Tape in there. Okay, let's take a look at the dashboard here. As you can see, we got the temperature gauge. That works. Speedometer, that works. We're showing 38,843 miles. I'm sure that's rolled over more times than my ex-wife. We have a tachometer. And we have a fuel gauge, ignition, and a bunch of knobs, one being the choke that doesn't work, heater control, heater motor, wipers and washers, and of course the headlights. And on a Spitfire, this is the other part of the headlight switch. The radio is not original. Okay, this is the, again, the passenger side now. I think this is the biggest problem with the interior, is the seats. Oh, look, here's the knob for the driver's side door. We'll have to install that. So these are the original seats, and 68, the seats were unique to 68. They're different from a 67 and different from a 69. I hope it's one of ours. Anyway, when you look under the seats, we can see that the driver's seat here, the foam in the seat is dissolving. So I have not yet removed the seat covers. Maybe we'll do that later. But hopefully under the seats is the original leather. Because if the original leather is under there, I have an upholsterer that can use it to make patterns and make new seats and new foam, etc., etc. One other interesting note is, yes, we got boxes of spare parts with the car. Yay! But this is the most fun thing we got with the car. The original Triumph AM radio. I am seriously considering putting this back in the car because I haven't seen one of these. I don't know if I've ever seen one of these. So this is a pretty handy little item. 68 Triumph. Okay, the final box that came with the car. We're gonna open up, look inside. Oh yay, look at it, it's like Christmas. This is the original distributor that was in the car. For some reason they took it out and put in that one that's in there that's kind of sloppy. So we're gonna probably spend some time seeing if this one can be reinstalled or what was wrong with it, because I kind of like using the original stuff. So another box of parts. Well, we'll finish off this video by seeing if that engine's gonna run. This is gonna be a whole nother video, watching me try to get in this car. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're in here. I believe we're in neutral. We have ignition, and well, let's see what happens. So that's our brand new, to me, 1968 Spitfire Mark III. We'll make more videos as we progress along with this restoration, maybe? I don't know.